Why didn't you die in my stomach? Huh? I hate you so much. I don't want to keep on seeing you. If you do,
You see, that is my biological mother. Let me share my story. Hi, my name's Cherry Wilson. I'm 26 years old and live with my adoptive parents. They're the best things that ever happened to me, alongside my brothers. My real parents abandoned me 20 years ago, when I was only 6. Then I did expect to be abandoned. They'd threatened me with it countless times. My biological parents are people who don't believe that having female children was good. I was born after 2 years of their arranged marriage. My biological father's father was a wealthy man, same with my mom's father. They were both only children and already roped for marriage. To secure a partnership with them, they'd proposed marriage to their kids. Since they had no choice but to agree, they got married. Their parents wanted the house to be filled with male children. Both were demanding for a male, and my parents needed a son too. They believed a boy would make them proud. However, my birth shattered their hearts. Once, when I was 5 years of age, I overheard them arguing, and I was the center of it.
Well, I'm tired too. I never wanted a girl. I regret having her just as much as you do.
then agree to my suggestion. We should put her up for adoption and pray for a boy.
We can't do that. People are going to talk. They'll tag us as the couple who couldn't birth a boy and ended up putting their daughter up for adoption.
Ah, I hate this. Where's that stupid child? Where the hell is she? Cherry.
Innocently, I walked up to her. My mother landed a resounding slap across my face.
Why didn't you die in my stomach, huh? I hate you so much. I don't want to keep on seeing you.
I was a smart child, so I understood what she meant. It wasn't the first time. I think I would have still understood because those words were like an anthem. Whenever she spoke to me like that, I couldn't help my tears. A month later, my mom fell pregnant. I got even worse treatment from them, as they strongly believed it would be a boy. The universe frowned upon me when the child was born, as he ended up being a boy. My little self panicked so much when my dad received the news through a phone call.
Get ready to leave our house. My wife has brought our real child to life.
Those words killed the child in me. I was left alone in the big house. The maids also regarded me as trash, so they barely paid attention to me. 2 days later, my mom returned home with the new baby. I tried to follow them in, but I was pushed roughly by my father.
Where do you think you're going? To touch my child? You're nothing to us. He's our only child, moron.
I was so young to be treated in that manner, but they didn't care. That night, together, they took me out of the house and threw me into the streets.
Leave our lives and never show your face.
I wish you would get kidnapped or killed. Fool.
I was just a child. I cried and begged, but they turned a deaf ear to me. When I grabbed my dad's legs, he pushed off roughly, causing me to hit my head on the floor. I passed out immediately. I woke up hours later in a strange room with a strange lady there. I couldn't speak. The lady lifted me up and fed me. I had bandages around my head and arm. After eating, I had the strength to speak. I asked who the lady was and where I was, and she explained that she found me unconscious, on her way back from work. She worked at an adoption agency and had no choice but to bring me there. Another lady also came into the room. They made me feel comfortable, and when I was better, they took me to join the other children. They did try to reach my biological parents, but they gave their full permission for me to be adopted. According to what I eavesdropped from the conversation, they told the workers that I was bad luck, and they didn't need me. It was a sad period for me. I was barely 7 years old, but my little brain could already understand a lot. The workers helped me as well, to forget it all and begin life afresh. By the time I was 7, my adoptive parents adopted me. They were the sweetest. It was hard for me to loosen up with parents again, as I suffered from the trauma of my real parents' behaviors, but they worked hard in getting me to see how much they loved me. My real parents never sent me to school, but my adoptive parents did. Even more, it was an expensive school. Their whole family never made me feel like I was adopted. Everyone loved me. However, 4 years later, at age 11, my adoptive parents had their first real child. It turned out to be a boy. When I heard the news from my grandmother, I went into a deep state of panic. I was used to being loved by them, so the news of them having a son of their own brought in a rush of emotions. I wasn't happy because I thought my time in their lives had ended. My real parents abandoned me after they had a son, and I thought they would do the same. My grandmother understood my fear and immediately began to comfort me. She assured me that I was part of the family and they would never let go of me for anything. It was hard to get me calm, but it eventually happened. On getting to the hospital, I broke down again, but my adoptive dad was there for me. They told me I was their first child and first daughter, and having a son would never change that.
We love you, Cherry. Do not be scared. We will never abandon you.
My adoptive mom also comforted me. I held my new brother in my hands, and I became even calmer. Life was good with a new member in the family. My family ensured to show us equal love. I also showered my brother with love. Our family got even happier. At age 16, in my final year in high school, my parents had another son. This time, I was even happier than them. I was overjoyed to have another member added to the family. I took care of the baby like he was my own son. The memories I was making with them covered the sad ones from my real parents. I barely even remembered them. I was in a better place. For my high school graduation, my parents got me a car. I couldn't believe my eyes.
This is to show you how much we love and appreciate your presence in our lives, Cherry.
Thank you for making things easy and even better for us. We love you, baby.
I burst into tears. My parents pulled me into a hug, whispering comforting words to me. My friends congratulated me. I was happy. I took exams for college and passed. My dad had started a chocolate company, so I went into business school to assist in handling it. My parents were proud of my decision.
I'd wanted to ask you, but I wanted you too to choose what you want.
You're so thoughtful, baby. Your dad and I are proud of you and grateful for you.
I was glad to have made that decision. I spent 5 years in business school. By the time I finished, my dad's company had grown even more. I began working immediately as the vice president. My younger brother was almost done with high school and had told me he was also going to join the business. I began to train him immediately. My other brother aspired to become a medical doctor, so he cared less about the business. Life was going smoothly for our family. 2 years into being a vice president, we opened a different branch, and my dad handed its management to me. I was immensely grateful and worked hard to make him proud. And I did. In just 1 year, my dad's products were the highest-selling chocolate. One day, I got a private call from an unknown number. I was hesitant to answer the call. However, when the caller persisted, I was forced to answer. Hello? Cherry on the line. How may I help you?
Cherry, my daughter, it's your mom, darling.
I was confused. Why would my mom call me with an unknown number? Also, her voice sounded different and strangely familiar. I knew that caller wasn't my adoptive mom. There was only one other mother I had, my biological mother. I was furious. How dare you call me your child? Have you no shame? Why the hell did you call me? How on earth did you even get my private number?
It doesn't matter, Cherry. I need your help. Your father died 6 years ago, and his family sent your brother and me out. My family took me in, but they sent me out last year because their company went bankrupt. We can barely feed, Cherry. Your brother doesn't even go to college anymore, and no one is willing to employ a dropout. Help us, Cherry.
Her audacity was shocking. I couldn't believe how shameless she was. After destroying my childhood, how did she get the courage to call me again? I ended the call without saying a word, as I knew I would say a lot of hurtful things to her if I spoke. She continued calling nonstop, but I refused to pick. During dinner with my family, her calls still kept coming in.
Pick up your call, baby. Why are you ignoring it?
I was hesitant to tell her the truth of who it was, but I eventually did. I don't know how she got my number, but isn't she so shameless?
Answer her, darling. Help her out this once. You're good, unlike her.
It took 3 days, but they finally managed to convince me. I finally answered the call. I got her bank details and wired a large sum of money to her. Don't ever call me again. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I thought it would end there, but a month later, she called again.
I gave birth to you. You can't just abandon me. Send us more money. Your brother's school took more than half of the one you sent.
Send us some money, Cherry. I'm a man, and I'm going to be better than you in the future. I might remember to help you then.
That was it for me. I lashed out at them very disrespectfully and told them to never call me again. However, they didn't stop until I was forced to abandon the phone. A week later, they showed up at the company. She caused so much trouble, telling everyone that my adoptive parents kidnapped her child. I couldn't tolerate her behavior. I contacted the cops immediately. They were both arrested. I sued them for harassment and also defaming my adoptive mother by calling her a kidnapper. The court asked if I would accept a fine, and I agreed. My mother was fined with $8,000 instead of serving a 2-year jail term, and my brother was fined $5,000 for being an accomplice. I was satisfied, as I knew they would find it hard to pay back. The court gave them a period of 3 months to pay, or they'd both serve 3 years each with hard labor. My adoptive parents supported me, as they weren't in support of my mother's actions. Of course, my mother and brother weren't able to pay up after 3 months, so they borrowed from a biker gang to pay. I hear they are now on the run, as the biker gang is, after their lives, because they owe them a huge amount, so they change states every time and are depressed. It isn't enough punishment for their actions, but I was satisfied. It would have been even better if my father was alive to get his punishment. I learned he died after a fatal and gory accident. I guess the universe gave him his punishment. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.